Jenny, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate you taking the drive. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. So you just disclosed that this is your first podcast ever.
Yes. I'm a little scared.
You're a little scared?
A little bit.
Why?
I don't know.
No, I get it.
I get a little anxious.
Yeah, I still get anxious hosting it. Yeah, sometimes. But once I break it in, get going, smooth sailing from there, and then I just let you do all the talking, and that's it.
Okay.
So you should be nervous.
Okay.
No, but thank you for coming on. I appreciate it. You just recently celebrated 13 years of sobriety. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And you came, so we are in Florida, all the viewers and listeners. You came down here originally to get sober.
I did. I'm from Portland, Maine, and I ended up going to Karen in Pennsylvania.
Wernersville, Pennsylvania? I went there.
Did you?
Yeah, in 2013.
I'm surprised I didn't see you.
When were you there?
2012.
What, a year right before me?
Yeah.
So I got sober the first time 3 years, and then I relapsed. But anyways, I don't want to take away from your story. Go ahead.
So I went to Pennsylvania, and that was like my first time doing like an inpatient thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a family donate $20,000 to help me get better. And I remember around that time, one of my really good friends had overdosed and died. And I remember being like, well, he didn't get this chance, and I'm going to give it my all when I get there. And I ended up knowing that I was done at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And I was there for a month. And after the month, they said I could either go to upstate New York or
Renaissance.
No, they didn't recommend that to me.
Really?
Yeah.
That's their sister program down here.
Uh-huh.
They always kick people out to Renaissance to keep them in
the loop.
It's a great program. Don't get me wrong. Yes. It's like not a scam or anything, but yeah, business and business. Yep.
Yeah. So I came down, and prior to that, I had gone to like AA meetings like before, and I think somehow they had some faith in me that I was going to be okay coming down here. And
your family.
No, like the people at Karen.
Got it. Right. Because they have to be on board with your plan. Yeah. Got it. Okay.
Yeah. So I came down and I did I got picked up by the lady from the halfway house at the airport. And I remember just being terrified. And it was an all women's halfway. And it was in Delray Beach. And it was like over by like a train track near kind of like a sketchy neighborhood. And I didn't know about like my location that I was at really. Mm-hmm. And I remember the first day that I got there, she was like, here's a bicycle, go get a job. And it was like pouring rain. And she's like, go. And off I went and I did it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's quite the measure to hold you to some standards and to take accountability. Yeah. I mean, but you did it, and you're here today with 13 years of sobriety. Mm-hmm. I want to backtrack for 1 second. So a lot of people, one of the biggest issues in America is, people being able to go into a detox or rehab. You had said that you had a family member who donated $20,000 to help you get into Karen. Now, I went to Karen too. Now, I wasn't loaded. Like my parents didn't have it really like that. And then insurance ended up covering it, which my parents got reimbursed for, which was a God save. That was amazing. Did you have it like that growing up, or was it just, a family member who had money and donated the $20,000?
We're definitely not like a wealthy family, and just very average.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't a family member. They have like this program where people who have previously been through there.
Alumni.
Yes.
Got it.
So,
okay.
Yeah. So my family did end up paying $10,000 for me to go, and then the rest was covered from families that have been through there before.
Okay, got
Yeah.
it. Okay. The thing is, when someone listens, I don't want them to like just rule you out and be like, oh, she's a wealthy girl who just got paved the way. Because when you said the bicycle thing too, then I started to put it together and I wanted to clarify it. No, but that's amazing that they have that with the alumni program.
Yes.
And Care and Treatment Facility is top notch. I went, I mean, yes, I had a relapse after 3 years, but that was on me. They are a phenomenal program.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
That's amazing that you were afforded the opportunity to go there. They're top notch, top tier, gold standard. Why don't we backtrack a little bit?
Okay.
You're from Portland, Maine.
Yes.
What was early childhood like? Did you have brothers or sisters? Were your parents together? What did that look like?
So I have an older sister, and let's see. So I'll start with my parents. I do jump around a lot, but my mom and dad, they're still together. I learned like later on how my parents grew up and how it's like my mom, she was raised in an alcoholic home herself, very dysfunctional. And then same with my dad. His father was like a hardcore alcoholic who died from the disease. And I never got to meet him, but yeah, my dad grew up with like abuse, and my dad actually never touched alcohol his whole life. I think it kind of scared him straight. But so yeah, I have an older sister, and she's 2 years older than me, and we were kind of close growing up, but I was kind of like a wild child, like as soon as I came out into the world. So, yeah.
Hey guys, quick update. Every Monday night, I host the Rise Above Recovery meeting. It's an open meeting for any addiction, alcohol, drugs, gambling, food, whatever you're struggling with, you're welcome here. To get the meeting link and weekly updates, just email me at kevin@riseabovepod.com and I'll add you to the list. Also, if this podcast has helped you, please like, subscribe, or leave a rating. It helps us continue to spread the message of hope. Lastly, if you'd like to go even deeper with Rise Above, check out our Patreon. Supporters get access to live interviews and can chat with guests after the interview. Thank you. What was your first run-in with, being a wild child? What age? What was like one of the first things that you remember that you did that was out of the ordinary?
I mean, I came out being like, I'm very creative, and we used to make I'm like a 90s kid. And so we used to make like videos with the kids in the neighborhood and make funny videos. And I mean, I just used to be, I don't know how to explain it. Just just a weird kid.
Creative.
Creative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Coloring outside the lines.
Yeah. Artistic too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. When did you, what was high school like for you?
It wasn't fun.
Everyone loses their identity in high school, I feel like.
Well,
that's why I just jumped right to high school. I was about to be like, well, when did you start? You know what? No. How was high school for you?
You want to do high school first? Okay.
Dad.
So, I mean, high school, we're skipping middle school.
You want to go back to middle school?
Yeah, a little bit.
Let's do it.
Okay. So I can remember that I had like a close-knit relationship with the kids like in my neighborhood. And then that was like the first period in my life where it's like we're all getting jumbled together from other kids from other towns. Mm-hmm. And I definitely felt like I was not prepared in any way or any capacity. But I do remember one girl she was from like downtown Portland. She was like a skater girl, and her and I hit it off right away. And like I would always dress like with the Jinko baggy jeans and things like that. But yeah, middle school, that is when I first started drinking, was middle school. But I ended up sorry, my brain just went to mush.
No, so you're hanging out with this girl, the skater girl. She becomes, I'm assuming, your new close friend.
Yes, very much.
And was the first time that you drank, was it with her?
I don't think that she was there that day, but it was on like one of those half days of school.
Yep.
And me and like the older kids went into the woods
Mhm.
and had like a bottle of vodka. And I can remember like trying it and being like grossed out. And I almost pretended like I was drunk to like
Yep.
seem cool or whatnot. And I basically had consequences like immediately.
Mm.
So like somebody told on us for that day, and then we had in-house suspension. And I remember thinking like it was kind of cool in a way. I was
That you got in trouble.
yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Rebellious.
Yeah, very much.
Did your
so.
parents find out?
Yeah, of course.
So the school called your parents too
Yeah.
and told them. What did your parents say? Because what were you, 7th, 8th grade? You're probably 11, 12, 13
Yeah.
at that point?
Yeah.
What do your parents say?
I mean, they were pretty pissed off. And I just remember having to do the in-house suspension, and I just remember not caring like at all.
Wow.
And it was almost like I wanted attention from my parents in a way. Because like my sister, she started partying before I did. So the focus kind of all went on her.
Mm.
So maybe in a way I did it for attention. But
so do you think when the attention went to your sister, you felt like maybe you weren't being seen and the focus was off you from your parents? This happens and it's really not a care or an issue that you got in trouble and got caught. It was more of like your parents now paying attention to you or the rebellious side of you.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember that happening, and like my mom was upset. It was more like my dad was off at work, and so the one that would like discipline me was always my mom. So my dad it was like he cared, but not so much, so yeah.
So you go on to high school. Do you play any sports or anything, or were you just...
I grew up, I did cheerleading, soccer. I was into softball when I was really young, but then as soon as I started drinking, I didn't give a shit about any of that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you go on to high school. What was your high school experience like?
It was bad. I ended up getting involved with a guy when I was like 15. And so when I went to high school, I went to Portland High School first, and I ended up getting into like a fight with this girl like very early on. It was this girl named Katie from another town, and her friends started like bullying me. And I remember I was very scared, and I didn't know like what was happening in my life. And I just, anywho, so this guy I started dating, we were together for a couple years, and then all of a sudden it turned like abusive. Yeah. Pretty much.
That was going on in high school.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the abuse is not acceptable at any age, but you're young too. And
yeah.
How long did that go on for?
It went on for years. It was kind of like that cycle where like I was at his house one day and the abuse hadn't started, and we were like watching a movie, and all of a sudden he just started hitting me out of nowhere. And so after that, it would be like the cycle of he would get me flowers and cards and apologize that it would never happen again. And I really didn't have any like self-worth or self-love. So I believe him, and I keep trying to go back and think that things are going to be different and change. And it never was. And so the bullying in high school, I end up switching high schools to go to where he is. And he ends up like towards the end of our relationship, I played a part in it going back when it was like I didn't know he would manipulate everyone around me, so I wouldn't leave. I just stayed. And I ended up, once I finally decided to get out of it, I had to get a restraining order on him, and then he would kind of stalk me, and I would be at parties and he would basically abuse me in front of people, and nobody ever helped me. And that's like a big part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you involved with drugs at all too during this time?
Mm-hmm.
What kind of drugs were you doing?
Cocaine.
Okay. So you were drinking and doing coke.
And coke. Well, like I ended up getting prescribed Adderall first.
Mm-hmm.
And then I tried cocaine when I was 18. And then I was like, wow, this feels like the same thing. So I really had a love for cocaine for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you get out of this relationship. You get the restraining order. Does he end up going away after the restraining order?
No, he ends up, I believe he put one on me.
So you back with one.
Yeah.
That's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys are both restrained from one another.
Yes.
And does that officially end it then at that point?
No, it actually took quite some time, because it was like the thing where like if I was somewhere and he showed up,
he had to go.
He had to go.
Yep.
But usually it would be me leaving.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like eventually it finally like fizzled out, thank God. But it really affected me in such a deep way.
Yeah. That's traumatizing.
Yeah.
So you graduate high school. What do you do after high school?
After high school, I partied.
Did you go to school?
I tried to go to school for law enforcement in college. I don't know why, but that was it didn't last long.
The cocaine cowgirl cop.
Yep.
Here we go. Let's go.
Giddy up.
All right. So how long does school last for you? Not long. I ended up I went to like beauty school. Mm-hmm. Thankfully, like, once I started doing cocaine, my whole life completely went to that. Yeah.
And I somehow luckily decided to do the beauty school to become an esthetician.
Mm-hmm.
And that was when like my cocaine use got way out of hand. And thankfully I got my license somehow. But yeah.
At this point, are you doing coke every single day?
Not every day. At least a couple times a week.
Mm-hmm.
But I was never like an every single day user. It was like when I put anything in my body, I have no control over what happens. So, yeah. Okay.
So your coke use is ramping up. Now, you get your license, and do you go into business? Like, do you start your own business? Do you go work for someone? And no, you didn't even start working, did you?
No. So I'm like,
okay.
Like Kevin, you're from New York.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming you were like working very hard, right?
I was.
I lived with my parents until I went to treatment.
Yeah.
So very spoiled, very enabled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you admit that.
Yes.
You've done the work on yourself.
Very much so.
But okay, so you pretty much from when you graduated high school until you got sober in your 20s, you were just living at home. I mean, what were you doing for everyday cash? Were your parents giving you money? Or just working like odd jobs here and there?
I had a job.
Okay.
I had a job at a consignment store. And I would always just have like random jobs. I remember at one point in time, I worked at Ann Taylor Loft. And I was working at Ann Taylor Loft, and I was on what do they call it? Where you end up getting, I'm drawing a blank.
Laid off?
I was on probation while I was working at Ann Taylor Loft.
Oh, in the beginning. They put everyone on probation, right?
Yeah.
When you're training.
Yeah.
So you're on probation.
Yeah.
And what did you do? You got fired?
I don't think that I got fired. Like eventually I did because of my drinking.
Yeah.
And I just, stopped caring.
Yeah.
But
interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So are you hanging out with your friends this whole time? Like what is walk us through a day in your life during this time?
In my life.
Yeah.
Gosh. Yeah, I mean, I would just party like my daily life. I would try to hold on to a job, barely could.
Mm-hmm.
And I would keep a job just for like a little bit of time and, party during the weekends. And like in my mid-20s, I ended up I got together with a police officer.
You started dating a cop.
I started dating a cop.
Ooh, how did that go?
Very messy.
I'm always hearing these cops are not good to date.
He wasn't so bad.
Mm.
He wasn't so bad.
Okay. So you guys start dating.
We start dating.
What happens?
In my late 20s. I was kind of trying to stop using at that time. And so I was prescribed by like a family doctor, Ativan for anxiety and all of that. And I was kind of like a dumb drug addict. Like I didn't know about any of these things. Like,
I mean, you lived at your parents. So you were a smart drug addict. Are you kidding me? You got taken care of for all this time. I'm shocked.
I did get taken care of.
All right, so go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I would come home. I love my mom to death, but I would come home from like doing coke and whatnot, and there'd be an Ambien next to my bed with a nice glass of water.
Wait, who put that out for you? Your mom?
My mom.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Is your mom still alive today?
Yeah, she's still alive.
She sounds wonderful.
She is wonderful. Yeah. She's in the program as well.
Is she really?
Yeah.
How long is she sober?
I believe she has 6 years now.
Good for her. Well, if your mom listens to this, congratulations.
Yes. Love you,
to your mom. To Jenny's mom. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, so she used to lay your pill out every day with water.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And so you're also then prescribed Ativan through all of this time, a stimulant, on top of the coke use, on top of the drinking.
Yes.
Okay, so you got a lot going on.
I had a lot going on.
Now, what were the feelings during this time? Like you're pretty much living to drink and use drugs. The jobs are coming and going. Did you have good relationships with friends at that point?
I had a couple close friends, like 3 girls that I would always party with. I had one that I grew up with, that I never thought she would ever touch a drug. She ended up getting into it pretty heavy as well. And, yeah, we would all just hang out and party together and, excuse me.
It's that club soda you're drinking.
I know.
It's very bubbly.
It's very bubbly.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you then, what were some of the feelings? Were you waking up depressed? Did you have anxiety? And I asked that because during my, like a couple of years before I got sober, it was fucking miserable. I would wake up depressed. I would wake up anxious. I would wake up happy, then depressed, then happy. Like it was just all over the place.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, I never wanted to, take I don't want to say it on here because I don't want to get banned on YouTube. I would never want to, but if it happened, I didn't care.
Yeah.
Like I didn't care if I lived or not. And I just went about life existing. Yeah. Were you experiencing some of the same feelings?
Absolutely. I remember, I'd wake up and either I would want to not be there.
Yep.
Like it was the way that I used was I feel like I used to disappear. Like it wasn't necessarily like I would go from like when I drank, it wasn't really like I enjoy. It was like I was a binge drinker. So it was like there was never like in the middle, like an enjoyment. It went from like 0 to 100. And so once I learned the balance of cocaine and alcohol, I was like, okay, like I can be, numb. And sometimes I'd be up for like 3 days. And that's when it started getting really bad. But it was definitely I was very depressed. I was also on Wellbutrin. I was on that like my whole life. And I was always quite sad, but more like a party girl and, comforting to others, but definitely couldn't find any self-love or self-worth for me whatsoever.
You
Just
said,
very empty.
Yeah. You said disappear. What were you trying to disappear from?
I think that honestly, I felt, it's like now I can look back and understand it, but it's just like at that time I felt so, after like that relationship that I was in, I felt like I didn't want to be here or that I had no purpose in being alive, really. Granted, I grew up with I'm like spoiled girl, I had no self-esteem because I never really had to work. I never really had to work for anything.
Yeah.
So, I'm just like existing, just here. And that's really it. Like no purpose whatsoever.
Yeah.
So
it's interesting because, people, a bunch of people that are sober. I'm sure I know a bunch of people that are sober, and, not everyone has trauma, early childhood trauma. And, sometimes in some cases when you're not participating in, getting a job and I'm not saying this is your story by any means. I'm just talking about, what I've heard and some of the people I've interviewed, when you don't really, when things are given to you or you lack purpose. Yeah. And it's like, in recovery, we try to do esteemable acts, right? Yes. Helping the next newcomer. Yeah. Or even just helping the old lady who's putting groceries in her car and she needs a hand. Stuff like that. Esteemable acts so that I can build my self-esteem. It's almost like a selfish act, but it's you're helping someone else. But it's so that you can look yourself in the mirror at the end of the day and have that purpose. You did right for that day. Right. And you're happy with who you are. Right. And you have an identity. I feel like when you don't do those things when you're young, and I'm not just talking about the good, kind acts, even just everyday things of, getting into college, going to college. I went away to college, doing those things on your own and getting a job and working hard for your money. You build an identity and purpose follows. Right. And when I've been in periods in my life where I lack that. And it was very similar to you. I just wanted to disappear. I didn't have any kind of like a specific moment where there was trauma when I was young that I was trying to numb from. It was just more lack of purpose and not being able to really understand who I was. And I was just existing, a shell of myself almost, going through the motions, nothing exciting in life. Dreading the next day to wake up and do it all over again, Groundhog Day. Yeah. So now you get sober in your 20s. Can you walk us through the last, call it 6 months before you end up ultimately going to Karen, and talk us through how you ended up at Karen?
So, I'll rewind to when I got engaged to the police officer. And
congratulations.
That's no longer. Shocker. But no, so I end up getting into this relationship that I now know that like God had, divine whatever, it was protection in my life because I was such a mess back then. I get into that relationship. I got my first DUI like in this 1 month period. And so I remember I got arrested, and I happened to know, like, I'm from a small town. I happened to know one of the cops that arrested me. And so I was so messed up that I ran a red light and I almost hit a cop car. So they pull me over, shackle me, and I was like, I pulled a Houdini and I got out of my handcuffs. I was like, here, motherfucker. Like, and I knew him. And so I was extremely angry. You know, I was like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde when I drank. And so they arrest me, and my fiance at the time, he got me out like that night. So I never had any consequences. I never had consequences. So I got out, and then my license was suspended at that point in time. And then a couple weeks later, I got my second DUI.
Oh my God.
Same month.
In the same county?
In the same county.
Same police department.
Yes.
Oh my God. All right. So really quick too, and I want to just make sure this is received correctly with the audience. You're laughing.
I am.
Because no. We have different ways of showing emotion.
Absolutely.
And you're sober 13 years now.
Yes.
And we all know what the consequences of drinking and driving.
Yes.
And, you could kill someone.
Yeah.
Kill yourself. There are so many different negative, bad consequences. I drank and drove too.
Yeah.
I never got caught. And, but I just want to clarify. I feel the emotion.
Mm-hmm.
I laugh when I'm like, nervously telling a story.
Yes.
So I completely get where you're at. So
Yeah.
it's just absolutely crazy that you got a second DUI within 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It's absurd.
I mean, it's definitely, it's not funny. I get very anxious.
Yeah.
You know, but
Totally.
And it wasn't, I mean, at that point in time in my life, it was like things were finally kind of crashing around me. And I was getting very reckless. And I remember the second one, I was completely blacked out. Like it was really bad. And I got arrested that night. They did like the strip search and everything. It wasn't like the holding cell where I was going to get bailed out. They put me right in. And so I was with the cop at the time. And so his best friend growing up was a corrections officer. And so thankfully for me, they put me in a cell by myself. And at night, I could talk to my buddy on the little intercom, who's the corrections officer over in the male facility.
Yeah.
So...
Was it the same cop who arrested you the second time, or was it another cop in the same department?
Same department, different cop.
And then obviously there was nothing that your fiance could do at that point.
No.
Yeah, it was the second time. You kind of jobs are on the line at that point.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that, I mean, my mom might have communicated with him as well and just said like,
let her be.
Leave her in there.
So how long did you sit in jail for?
2 weeks.
How was that?
It was terrifying. And I was also withdrawing from the Ativan that I didn't know that it, because I would just take it like candy, like nothing. So at night I would be withdrawing and my head would like jerk. And I didn't really understand what was going on. And I remember being in there and there was like a woman that would like, she was talking to her food. And I remember just being absolutely terrified. There was a girl that was in there that she was like shot in the neck from being in like a gunfight with the police. Like, and also to top it off, I was in there with the girl that I would fight with in high school. She would bully me, and I would, retaliate with her, and we like hated each other. And so I'm in there with her, and in a way she ended up like protecting me while I was in there. And so we were like shackled together on the bus in the middle of winter in Maine.
Wow.
And I was actually very grateful for that. So it was kind of like because I mean I was beyond terrified.
You don't look like you belong in jail.
No.
Mm.
No.
So you get 2 weeks in jail.
Yes.
You get out. Was there a bail set then at that point, and then you were bailed out?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then do you continue drinking and drugging after that?
So also while I was in there, people knew the cop that I was with, and they didn't like him. And so he tells me later on that there were certain people that were trying to go in there to try to hurt me, knowing that I'm with him, trying to get, yeah.
Politics, huh?
Yeah. A little scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did they end up hurting you?
No.
All right, that's good.
Yeah.
So you get out. What happens from there?
I get out and I lost my license for 3 years, and I'm working at a consignment store, and my dad would drive me to work, and I continued to drink. Yeah. It affected me, but I had no solution, like, whatsoever. And I remember I did try to do like an inpatient, and it never worked for me. So I continued to drink. I would drink. I think my mom at that point was like, if I can't beat her, I'll join her. And so I would end up drinking at home, and she just kind of was like, I give up at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to point out what you said there. You didn't have a solution.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like our society, specifically in the US, we do lack solution.
Absolutely.
And like that was one of the reasons why I wanted to start this podcast, because I feel like a lot of people don't know where to go, how to get help. You were, 2 DUIs in, did time in jail,
mm-hmm.
and really at a rock bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And you were a perfect candidate for someone who could use that help.
Yeah.
And we need to be better as a society in helping, in giving people the knowledge they need. Mm-hmm. Or the solution they need to get sober or clean, whatever their problem is. So did you end up staying with the dude? Like, how did that fizzle out? Did you guys get married?
We didn't get married.
Okay.
But his family helped me really change my life immensely. I ended up going to church when I was with him, and I had people put their hands on me and pray for me. And it wasn't long after that I got sober.
Okay.
So
how were you presented with going to rehab? Were you interventioned? Were you?
I ended up, I was kind of interventioned in a way. I remember I woke up one morning and I'd never felt this before. I woke up and I felt like, I don't know how to live my life like at all, but I can't keep living my life the way I am right now. And it was like this like overwhelming sense of doom, and it was just very scary.
Okay.
So, and then it was like a week ended up happening. I went out with a girlfriend, and I took a bunch of sleeping pills while I was at her in her mom's house. And she fell asleep, and I basically was like, how dare you leave me alone feeling the way that I feel right now by myself. And so I took the pills. I did like Facebook was like really big back then in the beginning. I did like this sob, like suicide note. Yeah. It was bad.
Yeah.
And the next, like I went to sleep, and then I woke up at like 6 p.m. that night. And with all of these messages, people had gone to my house. People had called my boss at work. And I had to show up at work after that, and kind of pretended like nothing had happened. And that's when I ended up, my mom was like, there was a small period or a small window that was like, I got money. Will you go to this? Will you go to outpatient or inpatient?
And you went.
And just like that, I was like, yeah.
You went.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. So you show up inpatient and now you had said you were introduced to a 12-step program prior to going there.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of had a general understanding of sobriety.
A little bit.
Okay.
A little bit. I had a sponsor at one point in time, and my whole thing was, I mean, I went to my first meeting I went to, I was 18 and I was not ready whatsoever.
Of course.
But, the most I had gotten through on my steps was up to step 4.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had a wonderful sponsor back in Maine, and I wasn't ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have to be ready and willing.
Yeah.
If we're going to get sober or clean, the person has to be ready. And so what did Inpatient do for you?
Gosh. I needed that separation from the drugs and everything and the drinking. I also needed it just from everything in my life. I needed that separation. Me and my mom, very enmeshed, needed that separation as well. And while I was there, I mean, honestly, it sounds terrible, but I had a really great experience.
That sounds amazing.
I really I remember they had a gym there, and I was like on the treadmill, and all the floofy things, fluffy things.
Yep.
I was excited about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I again, we both went to the same place. It's a great program.
Yeah.
And they really treat you like an adult. As long as you act like one, they will treat you like an adult.
Yeah.
And it's a great place to bridge back to life. And like you said, I needed that change too. I needed to be removed from my environment. Now, listen, I'm a firm believer, addicts, alcoholics, you take me out of West Palm Beach and you put me in Los Angeles, I'm still an addict in Los Angeles. Like, I'll still find whatever.
Absolutely.
But if you have that willingness, moving locations isn't necessarily a bad thing. It was a good thing for me.
Yeah.
So you do a month there, and then, you kind of walked us through it in the beginning, but you end up in Florida for sober living.
Yeah.
And you move into this house. It was, I think you said, in Delray, not in the best neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
And they give you a bike and say, go get a job. Now, this is the first time in your life where you're kind of just, you're on your own.
Yeah.
And mom's not there.
Yeah.
You're not living with your parents.
Mm-hmm.
What was that experience like?
I felt reborn. I really felt reborn. I had lived with my parents until I was 28, until I came down to South Florida. And I was honestly really excited. I was excited for my new life. And when I came down here, I knew that I was done. I knew, like, in my heart and in my soul and everything, that I was done with everything. And I was like, I'm going to give it my all. And I mean, the thing is that I wasn't ready to do that internal change. I'm like, we'll get the fancy stuff outside and I'll get a job and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, get a sponsor. And, I was going to meetings in the beginning and, just get whoever to be my sponsor. And I still kind of wasn't ready. I'm still like spoiled brat.
Mm-hmm.
And I had my mom ship down my clothes at the halfway house because I wanted to look good. And, I'm in South Florida, just all like the wrong things. Yep. And so I end up getting kicked out of that first halfway. And I got picked up by a friend to go to a co-ed halfway. Mm-hmm. And I ended up having a really great experience there. That was when I got my first sponsor that I really started to have faith and have some trust to do the work. And And being with her, it's like God divinely put her on my path, and being with her definitely changed my life and how I felt about trusting the process.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What was it that kind of changed the trajectory of your recovery, going from, sounds like you didn't change in terms of your behavior and internally, like you said in the very beginning.
Yeah.
Yes, God put your sponsor in your path. You guys meet, you start working together. When and what, well, we know when, but what was it that really, got you, motivated you to start going through step work and looking at yourself and changing?
Gosh, I started to, I think it was just like, I had like this willingness that just kind of, I don't know, it kind of came out of nowhere.
I had the same experience as you.
Really?
I didn't, in the beginning, I was still being, like I was just kind of same behavior, same mindset, but then the pain got great enough. I knew that I couldn't pick up. I knew I couldn't do drugs and drink successfully. Like they call it, a dry drunk, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't do any work on myself, and I was still living like an asshole. And then it, like, because I didn't have drugs or alcohol to numb it, now I'm really sitting with myself.
Yeah.
With those behaviors.
Yeah.
And entitlement, and I'm just like, this sucks. This is a horrible way to live.
Yes.
This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then I was like, last stop on the train. Might as well just I'm going to meetings. Might as well just start the work. If it doesn't work, then I'll go back out and go drink.
Yeah.
And it actually worked. So it was pain that motivated me.
Yeah.
So
I don't remember. I had like some of the people that worked at the halfway house. I would be outside like smoking and have conversations that I think were like divinely happening in my life. And this one guy ended up setting me up with that sponsor.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, he ended up helping me.
That's great.
Yeah.
There are good men out there.
There are. There are, Kevin.
With good intentions.
Yes.
So, okay, so you start working with the sponsor, you start doing work on yourself. What did you learn about yourself once you started to dive in deep?
Oh, God. Self-centered. How self-centered and selfish I am. Yeah. And like, honestly, a lot of the things that I started to really learn, I felt a lot of shame, because I was like, wow, this is like who I am right now. Like, as an unwell person, I was sick, but I felt as though people could see those things. Like, I felt they could see all of my defects. Like,
I'm a dirtbag.
Yeah.
No, I get it. The shame and the guilt.
Yeah.
So everyone experiences shame and guilt, even non-alcohol. Like, we all do. What did you do then? Because shame and guilt will take someone back out.
Yeah.
And they'll go back out to using and drinking. What did you do to kind of get through that shame and guilt?
I eventually went through all my 12 steps and started helping others. And then somehow it just somehow started to alleviate. And I know that by just going through the steps, for me, it was like all of that stuff, just like God, like, there's no way for me to even like explain it. It just started happening. Like my past started to go away. I started to be able to be present.
Yeah.
And it just, I don't know. It was all God, not me.
Well, you said it right there. You said you started helping other people.
Yeah.
That is, you want to get rid of shame and guilt, you help other people.
Yeah.
Because you start to rebuild the esteem in you and who you are and your identity. And once you start doing good things, we were talking about it before, then you kind of rewrite who you are as a person.
Yeah.
And then for me, that's how I did it. And then I started to come to the realization that, you know what I was doing out there, those shameful things, that wasn't who I was. I actually went back to who I was as a child. And this is really who I am. Because it's crazy. Every time I was doing those shameful things, there was always that voice in my head that was like, no, that's not a good idea. No, that is against all the morals that, you believed in up to this point, right? There was always that voice.
Yeah.
So kudos to you. Where are you at today? Do you sponsor?
I do sponsor. I honestly, like, this past year has been such a shift for me internally. I'm a big therapy girl, and I just recently, my biggest thing was getting into IFS work, internal family systems.
Yep.
Completely has changed my life.
Really?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about why it changed your life?
Why? I will say that my biggest thing with me is that once I got introduced to certain people that have taught me different, like, modalities of healing and things like that. And I got into breath work, therapy, trauma therapy. And then the IFS work is me going in and, like, talking and healing my inner child. And it's all within. And the other things, like, brought me to this point, but this has been, like, the one thing that has completely changed my life.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's really amazing. What are some tools that you have implemented in your life today? I mean, 13 years is a long time, and it takes a lot of hard work to stay sober. I feel like as the longer you stay sober, the road gets narrower and narrower, smaller and smaller, and it's easy to forget about how it used to be.
Yeah.
What are some tools that you have in your life now?
I pray every morning and at night. I still go to meetings. I go to therapy. I call other people. They call me. What else do I do? I was taught by this one sponsor, like, if she didn't come across my path, I don't know what I would have done. But
It's the same sponsor?
A different one.
Okay.
Both Scorpio women, very powerful women. And the second one that I got, I mean, she's incredible. She does breath work, but she ended up just teaching me how to sit with myself. And so instead of running, because I'm a runner, like, what you said it earlier, like, wherever we go, there we are. And she taught me how to really cry and be with the feelings and sit with myself. And that was, like, one of the most powerful things that I've ever learned. And because before it was like, I would make a mistake or something like that, and I don't know, go shopping or do something else to try to numb it or run away from it. Because it's like, once the drinking and the drugs went away, I would have my other ways of, like, coping or whatever. But I'm rambling at this point, Kevin.
No, it's great. And, even your willingness to come on the show, sharing your experience, getting vulnerable, just so that it could potentially help someone else.
Yeah.
Like, that's an act of service. So, yeah, kudos to you. And, congratulations on 13 years of sobriety.
Thank you.
And all that you do for the program. And you came in before me, so thank you for paving the way for those who came in after you. And I want to thank you for coming on and, again, getting vulnerable in front of an audience with the intentions of it helping someone else. So thank you again.
Absolutely. Thank you.